Hello and welcome to State Archives mini webinar. This one is on how to find a digitised railway personal history card. We're going to start with our homepage, records.nsw.gov.au. Now, the railway employee history cards cover employees of New South Wales Railways born before 1900 and still employed after 1910. There are 194 boxes of cards, with around 97,000 cards in total, give or take. And there, so far, we have digitised 55,817 and made those available online. You can search for and access cards now with surnames A to K, and we're progressively adding the cards when the digitisation and listing is completed. So to begin to search, you scroll down to our collection search box and type the name of the person you're looking for into the search box. So we're looking today for William Cuddy. Waiting for it to appear on the screen. So there's a range of different records coming up for that name. I'm going to click here on NRS 12922, Personal History Cards, Employees Born Before 1900. And that will take me to any railway cards for that name and no other types of records. So this is the only one that's come up. I'm going to click on the name there, and here you will see the item listing and then the images for that card. So if I click on that first one here, you'll see the card, we'll see the name, William Sylvester Berkeley Cuddy, date of birth, proof of age with the words, the initials BC listed there. We think that means that he would have shown the birth certificate when he had to provide that information, but not actually given a copy of the birth certificate to the railways. So he would have taken that back home with him, and the railways did not retain a copy there. You'll see here the date commenced to contribute to the Railway Service Superannuation Fund. That's why we believe that these cards were created to document people who were a member of the superannuation fund. Then along the card itself, we've got the date that any changes to the employment happened, so whether it was a promotion or a change to a rate of pay or a movement, whatever. The position of the railway employee, so William goes from being a junior porter to a porter to an adult shunter. He starts at Darling Harbour and moves to the Sydney district later on. Shows us the branch that he worked for, so traffic branch in the railways, and his rate of pay. Over here on the right-hand side, it tells us he joined the AIF, the Expeditionary Forces, in 1916 and was discharged in 1919, at which time he came back to the railways. Then if we click on the arrow over here, we look at the back of the card. So imagine the originals as cards with a front and a back, and this is the back. And we can see here that William worked for the railways until 1962 when he retired. So a very long career indeed. Now, people could have just one card like William did, but many have 2 or 3 cards, and in some rare cases there might be up to 30 cards for one person. So the originals, you'd imagine they'd all be pinned together, and then just as many cards as needed to record the information that they did. So you could do a few things at this point. The next example I'm going to show you is just searching for a particular surname. Again, this is the surname Barry, and again, there's a lot of items for that particular name. So I can filter down just to look at railway cards by going to NRS 12922, Personal History Cards, Employees Born Before 1900. So if I click on that, all I'm going to see now are railway cards. And it's important to remember that a lot of fathers and sons and uncles, brothers, nephews, all worked for the railways, so there may be more than just your particular person you're searching for. So doing a surname search can be quite a useful thing to do to come across other relatives that you might not have thought of. It's one way to do it. And then you can just go through and browse anything that comes up. We can see there's quite a few and then more results. So to find out of, we've got 62 images here, we can see that over here. If I want to load the next lot of results, I just click on load more results and go through the database to find the next lot of people. And I can just double click on the image here and view that. So we see here someone who's got more than one card. If I click on that, we can open that up and see Frederick Berry, who was employed at Nimitabel, Bombala, Regents Park, Sydenham and Botany, and he eventually went from being a fitter up to being a steam navy driver, and all of his rates of pay there. A couple of other interesting things you can do. I can filter this search to look for all the people with one first name. If I knew I was looking for Charles Berry, for example, I could do that. I would then have to go and tweak my results because it takes me back to all of the hits, and so then we just get the Charles Berries. Or another thing I could do is search for anybody who's born in 1895 with that surname Berry. Again, I'll have to cut that down to just the railway cards, and I come back to Charles Levison Berry here, who was born in 1895. Now, if I open that up like so, find that Charles has also got quite a few cards there. If I double click on that first card, then I can read through that information, and then I can click through to see all of the cards there, like so. And one final example, this time I'm going to pick on a William Cahill. Another way to filter just to look at railway cards might be, rather than to filter over to the side here, would be to put NRS 12922 into your search box, click on search, and then you can see just anyone with the William Cahill who had a railway card, and there's nothing to stop you also putting the birth year in there just to narrow that search down even further. What I'm going to do is put O'Sullivan in here, and then I will just see the railway cards for William O'Sullivan Cahill. And if I open that card up like so, we can see he's got quite a few cards again. And now I'm just going to show you all of these little icons at the top and what they can do. So if I click on show thumbnails, I can see down the bottom I've got the different cards, so I can look at those, and I can take that off so I don't have to see those. I can zoom, so that means I can blow this up and I can see that writing very clearly. So you can see it's very high resolution there, and we can read those comments easily now. So he strained his back by falling from the signal post. A little bit injury prone, unfortunately. Strained his muscles in the back of his, in his back, unloading a crate of rabbits. Later on, he's jarred the sinews of the back of his neck. Down here, he strained his bowels wheeling a heavily laden barrow, 1919. And then right down the bottom here, there's also notes to say that he's been warned for failing to announce the name of the station on the arrival of the train 368 at Redfern. Oh dear. We can reduce the size of that image back to its normal size. I don't know that you'd want to do this, but you can rotate the image. You can also enlarge the image to quite a full screen size there, which makes it clearer to read. And to get back, you just click on Escape. I can share it by Facebook and Twitter, and I can also take it to another software browser, another software type if I want to view that image as well. Now, you do have the option to purchase a copy of this, but what you will purchase, you can pretty much download yourself at home for nothing. You can do that by right-clicking on the image and then click on Save Image As, and then you can save that anywhere on your computer. And then once you've done that, you've got that image, and it's quite a high resolution JPEG image if that's what you choose to save it as. So to get out of this view, I just click on the X there, and we go back to the search to look for other names if we want to do that. So that's all I wanted to show you today. We're really excited about this project, which is our biggest digitisation project to date. We can't thank our wonderful volunteers enough for all of their help in the listing and digitisation of these records. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you soon.